Hello friends and welcome back to the farm. Today we are doing a lot of chores in the garden and especially some harvesting because I need to harvest stuff for today to eat. I need to harvest some onions so that I can succession plant some cowpeas, and I need to succession plant some sunflower, and we have some courgettes, some strawberries and other little goodies to harvest together. So we're starting in the strawberry patch, and we've been having pouring rain the past couple of days, and that's what happens. So you see, this is soft and the strawberry is not ripe, but it's soft and moldy. So I'm getting those off the plant so that the plant knows that it has to keep producing. And I'm going through some of them. You see, like this one, I'm gonna cut the rotten parts and I'm gonna keep the other one because it's looking still edible. And as I'm turning this into jam, I don't really mind if they're not the prettiest. Yeah, those are underripe as well. We should get some warmth soon. I don't have much to harvest today. I've harvested a few. Oh, I see one. I harvested a few yesterday. That's a gorgeous one. And this variety rarely ripens down below, but this is starting to be soft. So I don't want to let it another day and lose that one. Look at that salvia. Oh, it's so pretty. And look at all the butterflies around it. That's a gorgeous one. You see? Oh, pretty. The oregano is almost in bloom. The lemon balm as well. So butterflies should be happy. Oh, you don't see anything with me shading it. So I've harvested a small bowl. I'm going to make 1 or 2 jam pints. Oh, that's a gorgeous one. So that's a decent sized bowl. And now we are going to harvest onion and plant some cowpeas. Those ones. It's a French heirloom. It's called Dolique Mojette de Provence, and it's a cowpea, which is a type of shelling pea. And we are going to go harvest some onion to be able to plant those. So that's where we are going to work. So how do you know that an onion is ready to be harvested? You're looking for a soft neck and a neck that has bended on itself. So what you want is, I'm going to look for one like that. What you're looking for is exactly this. You see, this is soft. I'm gonna pull it. So this is soft, like there's no, it's not giving anymore. You see, it's completely soft. It has developed, or starting to develop, some papery skin. You can see the outer layer is starting to dry and darken in color. And that's the sign that your onion bulb won't grow anymore. It will just start to form a thick skin. So onions, if you don't know, are biennials, so they don't set seeds the same year that they grow. So basically the cycle of an onion is to stay in the ground all winter and then set seed early on the next spring. But you don't want that because you have a chance of rotting. You don't really want to use your soil as a root cellar. You can do that with some root crops like beets or carrots, but with onions you have a high chance of them rotting. So you want to harvest them, obviously, if you want to eat them. If you want to let a few go to seed, you just let the bulb in the ground and wait for the next spring. I have a few going to seed right now. I am seeing and trying to see if they will reseed themselves, and with me not doing anything. That's an experiment, I'm not sure it's gonna work. But basically right now I'm going to harvest all of these softened onions, and at their place I'm going to put some cowpea seeds. Look at this one. So this one's separated. I'm gonna take it. Oh. So look, this one's separated. It's actually 2 onions. And this is not gonna store very well. So that has to be eaten up pretty quickly. And so basically I'm going to get some space by pulling the onions. Like this one, you see here. Pulling the onions that are ready. And the ones that are not ready, like those ones, you see, or this one, the neck is still very hard. It still has a lot to give. It's not bending. I'm gonna let them go. But as those onions were planted fairly, not that close together, I have some space to sow the cowpeas in the middle here and not lose time, because cowpeas are usually 90 to 100 day kind of crop. So I am pretty late to plant those, and it's actually a gamble for me, because if I have an early frost in mid-October or early October, those will die. Cowpeas are not frost resistant. I can try to, put some frost blanket on top of them and try to save them, but as you want the outer shell of the pea to dry, and you actually are harvesting dry beans basically, you don't really want them to be frosted, because the skin will soften, get some moisture in it, and that's really not what you want to do to have long storing dry beans. So it's a little bit of a gamble, but those seeds I've saved from last year's crop, so I haven't paid those, and I'm ready to gamble with them. I wanted to plant some chickpeas and some red kidney beans, but those are even longer crop. I think red kidney beans is like 125, the seeds that I have, and chickpeas is 100 and something kind of crop. So I'm not gonna risk those, and those seeds I bought this year, so I will plant them next year, but I will go and gamble on with the cowpeas. And maybe you've seen this, but I'm not too big on weeding. There's plenty of little weeds. Oh, with the sun you can't really see. Yes, here you can see. There's plenty of little weeds like this, and I just pull them when need be. So right now, as I want to seed something in here, I'm gonna pull those 2, but those ones right there, they don't really bother me, so I won't take time to pull them, because they're not in the way. So that's also another trick, especially if you're not dealing with obnoxious weed, but just little grass weeds or weeds that won't reseed easily, or weeds that are not setting seeds just yet. You don't need to spend 5 hours weeding them. Just weed them either when they're setting seeds and so it's time for them to go before spreading everywhere, or weed the ones that are actually obnoxious. But the ones that are not, you can just leave them. It's not really a big deal, especially when your crop here, the onions, are so well developed. Those weeds aren't gonna do anything to them. So now I'm just gonna go through in between the onions and plant some cowpeas. So I just did half of the row with cowpeas up until this lettuce, and the rest of this I will do with green beans soon. I'm going to harvest the rest of those shallots right now because they really need to get out of the ground, and I'm going to put sunflower instead. I already have some cucumbers in here and some summer squash. I think I planted patty pins, which I had a hard time getting to go last year. This year they look okay. I don't know if my seeds are a little old because those seeds are bought in. Oh, those are the biggest shallots I've grew. Look at that guy. Beautiful. So I'm just gonna rake that and put some sunflower seeds in here. So my camera died earlier. Well, my battery died because my camera is fine. So I've harvested the shallots and the onions that were ready without you guys, and we are going to go and grab them together. I'm pleased with the shallot loot because I didn't expect much from them. Look at that. So the pile on the left of the screen here is shallot, and then those are the onions that were ready, and then over there's another pile. So now we're back to the garlic, which is the second task I need to do today with the shallot harvest. So the shallot harvest, that's everything I got. That's a lot, it's going way deep. And then I have a few onions, and I already have a few shallots. That's the bouquet I've done this morning. Look at that. This one is peppermint twist, I think. It's a dinner plate dahlia. Oh, it's too pretty. We have our special guest as always. And so the goal here is to transform this pile into this. So I have some shears to cut the roots and the tops, a cloth, it's a clean cloth to brush the dirt off of the cloves or off of the bulbs, because you don't want to go with too much of a harsh material. You don't want to use like a harsh brush, you don't want to use a very prickly cloth. Like, you really want something soft that you will just brush some of the dirt off of the clove or off of the bulb without damaging the papery skin that we took time to dry. So I'm going to show you one slowly and then we'll fast forward, and I'm not thinking or I don't think I will be filming myself doing all of those, because I probably have like 2 hours of work ahead of me. And once those are cut and cleaned, like this one, I have a box right there. So I have this box right here, and maybe I brought another one to see how much I fill up. But yeah, we have a lot of work to do. So you want to cut maybe 1 centimeter, you still have 1, and then you cut the roots. This one is very clumpy. I don't know how well, oh yeah, perfect. So the roots, you don't want any of them left. That will do. And then the skin that goes away by itself, you peel it back. You just brush gently the bulb, and here you go, ready to be stored for, I don't know, 7 months, something like that. Garlic is usually the first one to go because it doesn't have the best storage life compared to onions. You can find onion variety that stay good in storage for a year. I have some still from last year that are hard as rock and are just fine. And you see, you just brush it and we're good to go. So I have 20,000 more to go. No, not that much, but I have a good deal to go. Oh, and I haven't said all of that, as it's rusty and sick and disgusting, I'm not gonna compost it, or I am gonna compost it, but not in the compost I use for my garden. I'm going to compost it naturally in the forest. We have a little foresty border on our property, and so I'm just gonna put it on the ground there. It's gonna do its own thing, turn into soil, but I don't really have to worry about rust being back in my garden next year. And I'm gonna dirty up my entire back porch with this, but that's okay. I'll broom afterwards. Here we go. I'm gonna do a mental note, and the elephant garlic, that's what it is. And you see it has bursted. It's kind of almost like 2 or 3 bulbs of garlic were together, because you see there's one layer here for those cloves, another layer for those cloves, and then there's another layer for other cloves inside. So those I'm gonna set aside because that's the one we have to eat first. They're not gonna store very long. And you can braid your garlic, but apart from elephant garlic, all of the garlic I planted are hardneck variety, which you can't braid. The only one that you can braid are softneck varieties. The elephant garlic is a softneck one, but it's not going to store very long. And this is a good example. I don't know if you can see if it's going to focus on itself. Has a little hole in here, or it looks like something pierced through it. So the one that are damaged or have like funny looking cloves or things like that, I'm gonna set them aside as well with the elephant garlic, so that we know which one we should go or grab first, because those ones, the ones that are damaged, the ones that have like weird clove, the one that might be pierced, because you know I use a shovel and I know some of them punctured the outside skin. all of those ones I want to set aside so that we know which one to grab first. This one is perfect. Look at that. It's very small, but it's perfect. Oh, you see here? I've burst it. That's my fault. I was too eager to get the roots out, so this goes into the quickly to be eaten pile. I think I'm almost halfway through it. I have a few that are damaged, and that's because of rust. I don't know if you can tell like that. I should show you a better close-up. So here you see all of those bits. That's rust. That's what the disease does. So it's not only a disease that prevents the bulb from developing nicely, but it's also a disease that attacks the cloves. So all of those, this little pile, is what needs to be used quickly, and there's beautiful garlic. That's one elephant garlic, which is as big as my palm. That's pretty big. And then all of those are the hardneck variety that I planted and that those look really good. They're good, they're firm. That's how you want your garlic cloves to look like once you get it stored. And I'm gonna let them in under the porch in the indirect light so that this cut heals a little bit. And then they're gonna be ready to store tonight. And you can see how they look now compared to how they looked when we put them to dry. They're all yellow, all dry, and so all of the energy that was left in the stem and in the roots is now gone into the cloves. And it doesn't look like it maybe, but I'm ecstatic to be able to do that. I've never had a garden 2 years in a row. We've always moved. So it's the first time I can actually plant garlic. Oh, this one is, oh no, this one, it was rotten. Anyway, so we've always moved. And if you don't know, you plant garlic in the fall. In most climate, you plant garlic in the fall and then you harvest it the next summer. So it's a crop that is staying a long time in your garden. And if you have a small space, I wouldn't recommend planting a lot of it because it stays in the ground for 9 to 10 months, depending on how hot the year is. Or maybe not that much. 9 months? Yeah, 9 months. So, oh, this one is an elephant garlic. So it's a crop that asks for, you know, your garden bed, your garden space for that long. And if you're limited in space, you might want to put something that is more high yield or more valuable to you than garlic. I mean, organic garlic can get pretty expensive, so I'm actually very excited about those. And I'm also very excited to go back to that rhythm of life, be able to, you know, grow a portion of my own food and learn how to store it and learn how it evolves in the storing process. I've never stored garlic that long. I've never done what I'm doing right now. Like, I've never peeled back and cured and all of that. Like, it's a first for me, and it's really fun. It's really fun to do things that were so usual and so routine a century ago. Which is wild, you know. We've been away from agriculture as a culture. I know loads of people, I mean, not that many actually, but some people do grow food for a living, but there are so few. And a lot of them grow, you know, stuff that are not even eaten by humans or that are just in a way, like, across the world from them. So yeah, I really like growing food. It's very rewarding, and it's also very rewarding to experience those more traditional way of living. And when I say traditional, I mean, yeah, more connected to the food that we eat. There's some values that I'm glad that we left in the past. But growing food, I think it should make a comeback. That's pretty heavy. Okay, so we have the so we have approximately, because I counted quite quickly, we have approximately like 50-ish bulbs of garlic here, and and 20 here. So if you think like 1 bulb of garlic a week, we have way more than a year. And not way more, we have like 20 more than a year. And this is not counting all of the bulbs that I've already given away to friends and family, the tiny bulbs that I've blitzed and put in the food processor and put into jars in the freezer. And yeah, so I think we're set for the year. It's very exciting. It is mind-blowing. I am so happy. So now let's go and let's go and get the shallots curing. Oh, and as a transparency look, this is what my back porch looks like. And so now that's what the drying rack looks like full of shallot and a little bit of onion in the bottom row. And this is our outdoor storage. There's a chest freezer here, the lawnmower. And so those shallot will stay for a few weeks to dry completely. There's some beautiful ones. This one is big, and then there's a ton of tiny ones. But we'll eat them just the same. And that's gonna be it for today's video, friends. I'm sorry you couldn't see the main part of the harvesting portion of it because my battery died, but there are plenty of things to be harvested in the garden, so you will have soon new videos of harvesting and preserving and putting up for you type of content. Hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe to see the rest of the adventures we are about to have this summer, and you will see me in the next one. Bye.